Will and Jada. I think a lot of people have their own opinion about what happened at the Oscars. So today we're going to give you our opinion about what happened and how he reacted to the diss from Chris Rock. Check it out. Welcome to the next episode of Same Page. We're your hosts, Sarah C'est Ma Juste.
And I'm Lenard C'est Ma Juste.
Today we're talking about the topic that everybody has been talking about basically Will slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars for talking about his wife, and which he perceived as being an insult. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about, I guess what we think about it and whether we think he should or shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. And disclaimer, obviously not everybody's going to agree on our opinion about it. So just keep that in mind.
Yes.
But before we keep going, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you're enjoying our content on YouTube. All right. So, I don't think people need necessarily a recap, but do you remember what happened?
Yeah, so on Oscar night, Will and Jada were basically front stage because Will was up for an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role as Richard Williams.
King Richard
in the movie King Richard, the father of Venus and Serena Williams. And so Chris Rock, before I forgot which award he was presenting, had a little monologue, and he included Jada in one of his punchlines, a very innocent punchline, because Jada's a very beautiful woman, and regardless of what her hairstyle is, she was able to sport a shaved head very nicely. Mm-hmm. Now Chris Rock made a reference to G.I. Jane, where in a movie in which Demi Moore at one point shaves her head to really, incorporate herself with the other Navy SEALs that she's training with, to be basically one of the boys in that sense. And like last time I checked, Demi Moore is another very attractive woman too. So it definitely wasn't an insult on Jada's appearance, as far as like from a beauty perspective. It was just mainly a reference to Demi Moore had her head shaved for this movie, and since Jada had her head shaved at the moment, he just made that simple correlation or a simple comparison. And initially, at least from what we saw, is that Will thought that the joke was amusing because the camera caught him actually laughing.
Yeah,
but then
and it looks genuine.
It looks like a genuine laughter. And then when you look when the camera shifted over to Jada, you saw that she didn't find the joke very amusing. And then at that point, that's where Will Smith kind of like a flip switched, and we don't exactly know what's going on in their life. We know that. With the Red Table Talk show, a lot of issues has stirred up about their relationship, and specifically Jada stepping out of their basically open relationship, but who knows if it's really open, if there's that level of insecurity and jealousy, but it's a whole other topic. But either way, whatever look that Jada gave to Will, it triggered for him to want to protect her, want to take action. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Chris Rock was the victim of an assault in front of like the whole world, basically.
Mm-hmm. So I think we have to mention why Jada was uncomfortable with that joke. Okay. Right? Yes. She came out, I think maybe, I'm not sure how long ago, saying she has alopecia and that she was losing her hair. Mm-hmm. Right? So her shaving her hair is not something that she did initially because, this is the style that she wanted. Mm-hmm. It's sort of the result of an illness.
Yes.
Right? So I guess she probably in my opinion, she probably has heard a joke like this many, many times. So her look to me was kind of like, ugh, here we go again. She kind of like rolls her eyes.
Exactly. And also, Chris Rock did not know about her medical condition.
Oh, okay. So that I didn't know about. So
Yes.
I mean, I think the joke that he made had nothing to do with her illness, right?
No.
And I know you're adding that you know, he didn't know about her illness, and that's news to me. And that goes even more to say that like the joke was innocent. It was just like a reference, just like you said, G.I. Jane and whatnot. And comedians, that's what they're paid to do. And a lot of people get roasted. Like when I say roasted, they get roasted in the front stage, and even if it's uncomfortable for you, you kind of have to you laugh. And when you go to a comedy show, right? Sometimes somebody may say something about you that you don't like. You know, it's true. Typically, it's true, and you're like, I'm uncomfortable with that, or maybe it's racist or whatnot. So, I mean, there's different premise to different jokes, but I think that's what you get when you're at a comedy show, right? It's a joke. Some of them may be offensive. I'm not sure whether you have to take all jokes, because not all jokes are appropriate. But I think that particular instance, I thought the joke was inappropriate.
Yes, exactly.
That's my opinion. But that's the first kind of like laying the grounds for, you know, the argument whether Will should have done it or not. So in your opinion, let's say somebody makes a joke about me that you feel is offensive, because that's what happens. He felt it was offensive to Jada.
Exactly.
What would you do in the same setting? Like, do you think it's okay? I mean, at a comedy show, I know this is the Grammys, but you know, Chris Rock is a comedian. The Oscars, sorry. Chris Rock is a comedian.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay to assault, or what would you do? Like, what's an okay reaction?
Exactly. I first of all, like, I want to say that it's never okay to assault someone. Chris Rock was there literally doing his job. And as we've alluded to, the joke that he said was a very lighthearted joke in the grand scheme of things. So Will going out of his chair, going on stage and slapping him was inexcusable. And it shouldn't have happened. And like I definitely believe that he definitely crossed the line when he assaulted Chris. Now, as far as what type of a reaction I would have had, say we were in the same position in the front stage at the Oscars and someone made a joke to you, I would probably maybe heckle, maybe yell, saying that okay, maybe that's not appropriate, and then find a time in this case, because Chris and Will actually know each other, would have made a comment behind the scenes.
Right.
But at the moment, I would have probably maybe heckled if I thought that the joke was inappropriate. But once again, like, I don't believe that the joke that he said was inappropriate. So if we're taking like this specific scenario, I probably would have did what Will's initial reaction was, is just kind of laugh and then smile and then just keep the show moving.
Yeah. And what if I'm kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit. Like, what if you thought it was okay, and then the wife is like, you know, that's not okay.
Then, as your husband, I'm worried about you.
Right.
So I'm talking to you. I'm trying to console you. I'm trying to see where your mind is at, and then if I have to deal with the person that made the insult, I'll deal with them in another situation. But I don't feel that. Once again, it was the right setting for him to overreact in that sense.
Right, I agree with you. The worst part I feel is that afterwards, Jada made a comment saying that like he didn't need to do that for me, right? So I almost feel that like it kind of, I don't know if it's like diminish or his action, because it's almost like he's like showing his love for her publicly, defending her honor, and now you're like, dude, like, why did you do that for me? Like, so I feel like now, because even the fact that she said that, it makes his action even more, I guess, unacceptable, because it's almost like she also took it as like, okay, yeah, I was uncomfortable with the joke, but I was uncomfortable to the point where you had to punch the guy or slap the guy,
Exactly.
right? So in my opinion, I think you're right. Like I would never expect you to hit someone, if obviously somebody's like assaulting me or in my face or like, that's totally different,
completely
that's
different.
totally different. But like a joke like this, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not sure if I would feel pride after, be like, oh man, my husband got my back or whatnot. If you assaulted a person, because like that just leads to so many other issues, especially when you're a celebrity.
Exactly.
You never know what can transpire out of that. And I think now they were talking about revoking his Grammy or whatnot, his Oscar. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Listen, I don't watch these things.
Yeah,
Really.
clearly.
And I don't think they need to revoke that. I think it was well deserved. And I don't know about the rules about taking away these awards, but that's a separate. I think he worked for that, and he deserved that Oscar. But I do think that his action was inexcusable.
Exactly.
And I would never expect you to hit someone who hasn't hit me, let's say,
Exactly.
or assaulted me.
Exactly. One thing that I brought up amongst well, to you and to everyone that we've talked to this topic about was, as much as obviously what Will did is inexcusable and he definitely stepped over the boundaries, but at the same time too, the Academy is to blame here too, because of their lack of action. Like, yes, they're trying to do things right now after the fact, but when this incident happened, Will Smith was allowed to literally go back to his seat and act like almost like nothing happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though obviously everyone saw what happened. People like it was told that there were people in the audience that consoled and talked to Will afterwards, but the Academy didn't step in and ask Will to leave or escort him off the premises, because in all other circumstances there would have been some severe repercussions for assaulting someone like that in public.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, we didn't see it, but I heard that he was asked to leave, but he didn't leave. But I'm like, listen, when you have security guards that are 300 pounds and next to you, and they're like, you need to leave right now, we're going to escort you, you leave, right? It's not a matter of choice. It's a matter of like picking you up and getting you out of there, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're not at fault for what happened, but to kind of like
brush it off.
Brush it off, but just more, I don't feel like they took it as serious as it was. Thankfully, Chris Rock, I guess, maybe laid by a guy, he was just like, okay, you know what, dude, whatever, you slapped me, I'm not gonna press charges. But it could have been anybody else, right? If it was another comedian, maybe they would have pressed charges, and I'm sure that they could have said, okay, like, what are you doing? You need to kick this guy out or whatnot, right? So let's go back to more of like the marriage and relationship part between Will and Jada. Okay. From that incident, would you say that there's issues in their marriage? Like a lot of people are looking more into their relationship because of what happened. And a lot of people are blaming Jada because they're like, well, like she's the one that made him do this, and which I don't believe. But like, do you read a little bit more into their relationship from that incident?
Absolutely. Like, now, mind you, obviously, like, we don't know all the dynamics of their relationships. We just know what they've shared with us very openly and publicly through their platforms and whatnot. But there's definitely a situation in the sense that there is a trust issue there. Their relationship is definitely fractured, and I think they're just trying to do their best with their situation and move forward, because I think ultimately they don't want to get to separate. They don't want to go that divorce route.
Because it's too expensive.
No, I think it has nothing to do with money. I think it just has to do where it's like they have a family. There's obviously different layers to this. Will Smith, he's already been separated from a previous relationship. I don't think, I think Jada, that like this is her first marriage. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too sure. But I think ultimately they want to do what's best for the family, and I think that's what's taking precedence. And you can admire them for that. But at the same time, they definitely have some issues that they need to reconcile. Mainly, like, I think it's a situation where, and I've expressed this to you, where like it seems that Will loves Jada more than she loves him. Like, not that love is never equal, but you do get these situations where there's a little unbalances, and then as a result, someone may overreact, like Will has in this instance, and I'm sure he's done it with other instances as well. We're not sure exactly if he's fully expressed himself on how he really feels about Jada's, situation.
You mean like when she stepped out on him?
Exactly. So, right. So I don't think that situation has been resolved in any way.
I see. You think that's just like a trickle effect?
Exactly. And then and not only is it trickle effects, but like it's like spawning and like affecting other aspects of their relationship.
That's a fair point. Bottom line, like, we don't know everything that goes on in the relationship. There are celebrities, we get glimpses here and there. And I mean, we're here talking about this incident, but like, you don't have the full picture, right?
Exactly.
And it's always very difficult when you don't have all the information, and you're sort of judging two people from, these glimpses into their lives. So I agree with you. I do think that maybe there maybe some things that need to be worked out in a relationship, and who knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's so easy us making these comments, but we don't know how it is being in their situation.
Yeah, being a celebrity and
scrutinized constantly, even though they do put themselves out there a lot with their social media and red table talk and whatnot. But that being said, like, who are we to judge, So we're just talking about this topic because it's a good discussion, just to almost to reflect on how are things in your household, right? How are things in your marriage? And that's the way I'm looking at it. It's like, okay, like this is a situation where it definitely got out of hand. And how could we translate that to what we're going through in our current relationship?
Or like we'll learn from that.
Learn from those mistakes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, food for thought. Well, let us know what you think. We love to hear what other people think about this situation, but also like is that appropriate, and what would you have done in a situation like this? Don't forget to like, to subscribe, comment. We're coming up to 100 episodes soon, so we'll have something very special for you guys for the 100th episode.
Exactly. And like always, guys, don't forget to live your truth.